So we will prepare like 5 years budget. Okay, let's take it like for granted. You're gonna get everything. If you would like to prepare it, you can. Otherwise, you're gonna stay with your 1-year budget for sure. I would like you to start working on your budget in case you have not done it and you are operating your hotel already for a few years and you have not made, your statement. It's now time to move on. So the 5-year budget is to get really ready for the big changes, opening new properties, major upgrades and stuff like that, in order to simply make it happen. We will need to do a budget revisions, definitely. Before you're gonna say, okay, this is my budget, either for 1 year or 5 years or 3 years, there are going to be revisions because you maybe don't like the numbers you see, and you need to revise it. And there are plenty of ways how to do it. It really depends where we would like to end up when it comes to the, let's say, ratio between the revenue and costs. We will need to review this as we're going to be doing it on our own. It's just very easy because we plan our revenue, we plan our costs. We are not a big hotel. We are not having 6 managers that every one of them is managing own department. If we do so, it's just perfect. But therefore, we need to have a revision because one thing is how much we're going to make. The second thing is how much it's going to cost. Okay. We have to think that the budget revision, it is a must for newly open hotels. And then before there is this kind of final approval, yes, this is my budget. Because sometimes you have to do adjustment on a revenue side, sometimes on a cost side. In many cases, you do it on both, simply to hit the numbers you are, or your manager, your owner, your bank is ready to see. So for each zero-based budgeting, as said, we can, we will be doing in terms of getting the costs from nothing, ideally. So you'll be really kind of thinking like for how much I could be selling this and how much it is going to cost me. And we will need following steps, let's call it this way. Each department has to have an objective. So it means, what are the departmental key goals? On a revenue side, we understand that we have done revenue management. We know what's the focus, of whom we would like to be selling, what's our champagne client, how we would like to be achieving, what kind of strategy, direct booking strategy, dynamic pricing, and all these kind of things. And the same goes for other department as well. So if we are having a breakfast restaurant, if we have a meetings room, this is the objective you need to understand because you are creating the business plan, how you're going to approach the success, what is going to be all about. Long-term vision, goals, and little small activities. Activities. So let's say, what service and what operation of that department is able to deliver this kind of objective, this goal. Okay, so when we say we would like to sell 40 meetings in a year, who is going to do it? Who is going to be selling? Who is going to be, giving the proposal? Who's going to be hosting the event in place? Like, what do you really need in order to make it happen? One thing is to put the number of revenue on a table. And the other thing is like, how are we going to achieve this? And this is related to the cost. So now we are getting a little bit the picture about it. Then we need to have a justification for those departmental activities. If you are doing the budget from the scratch, you need to simply justify and say, well, this is what I need. 100% it's a must in order to achieve this. So if I would like to have my 40 meetings in a year, do I need to have a team for this? How are we going to benefit out of that? If we are already operating and you are going through this kind of evaluation stage, you need to start asking yourself, am I really efficient to deliver this? And is my cost enough? Do I need to replace something, a person, the process? Maybe I can replace part of the job with some automation. You see what is the cost of the automation and you see how you can handle that. So the justification of continuation of the departmental activity is very important. Don't take everything for granted. If you were okay with those costs last year, you maybe, watch out, especially when you are a small independent property. No one is going to give you the money unless you pay some interest rate to the bank. So you really need to be precise. Then, if you say no, we have to find the alternative ways to carry out our activities. In which way? Is it the technology? Then you need to understand to which part of the budget it belongs. If it remains the same in the same department, or it's going to, affect different line in our budget, and how it's going to affect our profitability in general. And then maybe there will be recommended alternatives. So it means, are we having maybe one more step? Okay, we can do this. This is going to cost us, or maybe this is the, let's say, wish activity we would like to do, or alternative to our cost, or eventually even a revenue, of course, to improve our efficiency and our performance. So you don't really have to use it this year, but it's good to say, okay, let's do the level 1 improvement, and maybe next year we're going to do the second level of the improvement. If you are not able to cut the cost in a year 1 to year 2, we're going to do it in 2 or 3 years. So always be ready to optimize. And then what we're going to get? Money. What we need, it's also with the cash flow, what we really need to carry out your activities and achieve the goal. So money. So it means revenue needs to come to the hotel so I can spend it wisely.